Je n'aime pas les séries télévisées de Halo. The fuck that mean? I don't know. Do you? Something about Halo? What's Google Translate say? Oh, he doesn't fuck with the Halo TV series. Okay, he valid. Translation doesn't just apply to language, it's an ominous task that can alter the trajectory of a series for better or in most cases for the worst. Zelda going from a game to a manga, what a great idea. An example of something that translates well and stays respectful to the story but adds details that aren't present while Link is mute. Isn't Link supposed to be mute though? Isn't that a design choice? Finding the right means to translate a story while staying respectful to the original vision is no easy feat, and I have major respect for any company that has made it happen within any medium. Yet, it's all too common that companies fail to triumph under the pressures of preserving the original IP's legacy. One would ask, if it's too hard, is it even worth it? Why do companies keep trying if they know they're gonna most likely fail and be ridiculed relentlessly? Halo, Fallout, League of Legends, Star Wars, legendary IPs without exaggeration, though I vouch that League is debatable. Each of these titles have a vast library of lore to take from and inspire future works, and in regards to their respective mediums, they have continued to inspire. Halo had an amazing run pre-Halo 5, I'm giving 4 a pass. Fallout pre-76 was amazing, 4 is also debatable, but we're gonna let it rock here as well. There's a trend with recency and quality that I'm noticing, which is a greater conversation that I had 2 videos ago about graphics taking priority over story, but I digress. I don't know a damn thing about League, but I know they stay making more lore for the entire game than they ever had to or needed to. And of course, Star Wars, a massive IP that branched to every medium of media and art imaginable, starting with the amazing 6-movie run enveloped by books, TV shows, animations, games, and more. These 4 IPs are our main topic of discussion for this chapter, starting with Halo. Let's get the train wreck out of the way so that we can all get a little weight lifted off our shoulders as we continue. Halo, the series, is an abomination for lack of better wording. I don't want to talk your ear off about it, seeing as I've found a way to bring it up in all 3 of my video essays now, but what I will say is that the core concept of adaptation and translation of media was completely ignored in this series, and it showed. The team made it very clear that they didn't know a thing about the franchise, going as far as to brag about having never played the games, yet attempting to make a series based on said games. What resulted was a sad attempt at reconstructing the Halo series with a deep misunderstanding of characters' core concepts and the overarching story. The UNSC is now a nuanced dictatorship who oppresses, the Covenant now has a high-ranking human at the helm, and Master Chief is a sickly little 5'11" shrimp with claustrophobia and immaculate game. Where was any of this in the games, even the ones made by 343? Your guess is as good as mine. Typical example of a bad adaptation from one medium to another, this has been proven time and time again to be something where the odds are not in your favor. So why? Corporate greed? A genuine appreciation for the IP? I believe the former, and it doesn't take critical thinking to get there. They did not give a singular fuck about the games, no passion for the franchise, and that reflected in the final product. You see it in the new Star Wars movies and TV shows. The 3rd and final trilogy of the Skywalker saga was corporate slop, shock factor upon shock factor, bringing back characters who were obviously meant to remain dead just to get an extra conversation buzzing. But then in contrast, you see The Mandalorian, you see Jedi Fallen Order, and through that lens you see genuine passion and respect for the title reflected in the approach. There is no attempt to generate views via abuse of formerly popular characters, and whenever they are introduced, it makes sense and serves a purpose. Palpatine versus Darth Vader in Jedi Fallen Order. One makes no fucking sense at all, and one is portrayed as an unkillable demon which respects the story that was paved before it and serves to enhance the lore. I'm certain I don't need to walk you through which is which. So, one might say, how hard can it be? It's a story with a finite amount of ways that it can end, which have already been written for your viewing pleasure. Surely it's doable that a company just follows the script? As simple as that claim sounds, I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear that is exactly what it takes. Nier Automata was adapted into an anime which followed the plot, in no exaggeration, to a T, and you won't be surprised to hear that it received a rating of 4.8 out of 5 on Crunchyroll. It should be obvious to companies that the easiest cash grab is to literally change nothing, but I have a theory, and it's that they do it on purpose. Best case scenario, they've changed the story for the better, are revered as legends and the true company worthy of the IP, and worse, worse, they get buzz clicks, people trying to find out why this new movie, series, whatever the case may be, is hated so much. For them, it's a win-win whether you hate it or not, and I believe they get a lot more out of it by fucking up and creating controversy than creating something that appeals to their current audience. The goal is to branch out for better or for worse. Death Note's live adaptation. They took an extremely intelligent, narcissistic, badass looking character and turned Light Yagami into a high school dropout school shooter. I don't understand the reason. There is no reason. These changes only serve to make the story worse and make less sense. Another instance where a character is changed for no observable reason, and that's why I say it feels like it has to be done on purpose for controversy's sake. Pushing that aside, I think a complete one-to-one recreation is safe, one of the safest ways to adapt one medium to another without upsetting anybody, and it's so easy it should be a no-brainer. But if one is really truly passionate about the IP and wants to carve a unique take on the legacy of the title, I believe there is one more way to do so in a relatively safe, respectable, and enjoyable way. The most successful form of adaptation I have seen, which comes with the least amount of risk outside of a one-to-one copy and has the most potential for major success, has always been deviation from the main cast but remaining in the same world. Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Arcane, The Mandalorian, fantastic examples of a deviation from original plots which stay true to the world that they take place in and do not try to change the existing characters. These adaptations have outrageous success, even rivaling the success of the original IPs within their respective measurements. They all have devices in common though, and that would be their respect for the story that was laid before. Edgerunners has Adam Smasher, a character like Darth Vader in his overpowered, unkillable, and unshakable nature. This remains true in the game and translates over to the series seamlessly. Rogue has brief appearances doing her job exactly as she would in the games as well. This mixed in with new characters in the series makes for a faithful breath of fresh air into the existing story, building on concepts rather than altering. The same can be said for Arcane, with Jinx and characters from League being implemented, and though I cannot speak to their individual characters as I am not a League fan, there were tons of new characters that were the stars and served as means to build on to the lore of League, rather than to try and alter it and tell it in a different medium. The Mandalorian speaks for itself, with all the new characters and old ones being tastefully brought back in. I would beg to differ on Boba Fett, and I believe that's where the story borders on hokey, but it never fully ruined the show for me, so personally I can overlook it. That one's more a matter of opinion though. My final and most useful perspective on this matter is aimed towards those in charge, and it once again aligns with my first video essay about video game story and its degradation over time. If you, as a director, writer, whatever the case may be, feel unsure about the story and its changes to the original IP, the community is there. They have countless forums and the majority know exactly what they want out of adaptations. Ask! Fucking ask! Go incognito, ask as a public figure, do whatever you need to do. The resources are there and the fans will tell you in great detail what it is that they expect out of you. The excuse that it's always going to be a risk and you didn't know just doesn't hold up, and it never did. There's overlap in this opinion with my original video about the correlation of time passing and quality in story, and rather than pointing out how boring and repetitive that is, I'd rather take that as an indication that these points are very much applicable and hold true, using 2 whole video essays as examples as to why these concepts are crucial for creatives to understand. Your community can help you with a lot. They enjoy the product. That said, bending to every whim isn't going to help, and letting the community drop a Wattpad story on you is probably going to ruin it all. But there are pivotal details in stories that fresh eyes can miss, but veterans of the franchise are able to emphasize without a second thought. I do firmly believe that there are effective ways that are objectively safer to use in regards to adaptations from one medium to another. It is inherently hard and obviously impossible to please everybody in the first place, but you know as well as I that that's never stopped media from being well received, as displayed earlier in this video. I'm hopeful that media adaptations are able to make a shift in the industry standard, though as of right now I'm unconvinced looking at the constant slot being pushed, and I'm certain that Eli Roth isn't tapping into the Blight 24 subscriber channel, but maybe his little intern is.